And we're back in the room. So this is sort of an unscripted vlog style video just to catch everyone up on what's going on. I had a couple of folks ask recently why the channel hasn't been updated. I did say at the end of the last video before Christmas, the Tracksaw picture frame video, that I was taking a break from posting public videos in January. I spent January mostly in front of a keyboard, rattling away, doing behind the scenes admin type stuff. For example, the products are now a separate VAT registered limited company. I had my first quarter VAT return to deal with, many questions from the bean counters, many answers that I had to dig out for them. Amongst other things, I've also moved away from Etsy as a store platform to Shopify as a back end for the 10-Minute Workshop store. That involved an awful lot of moving product over. Lots of reasons for doing this, some of them VAT related, but largely I feel like I've outgrown that store, the Etsy store. But more importantly, because of a tie-in between YouTube and Shopify, it means I can get my store directly beneath, if all the planets have aligned, directly beneath my videos, including this one. So instead of shunky t-shirts and phone cases, you can see the full range of 10-Minute Workshop products down there. Despite all the behind the scenes stuff, I did put out about 11 or 12 videos for 10-Minute Workshop Plus members in January, including 3 for the 2022 review. I do, funnily enough, an annual review every year where I look at the overall and individual video performances. I look at the channel finances and I talk about future plans. Those are all available to members at 10-Minute Workshop Plus. So the first build of the year is underway. It's a 5-drawer cabinet to replace this 90s sort of vintage IKEA children's bedroom furniture that's been under that bench pretty much since I had this space. I started cutting it this week and the cabinet should be out next week with the drawers coming soon after that. So strictly speaking, I should be using Finsa Fibercolor for this cabinet if it's to match all the other base cabinetry stuff that I have, but I just don't have enough of that and I'm disinclined to buy a full sheet just to do one cabinet. As most of the cabinet is actually going to be hidden, I'm just going to use the moisture resistant board, the Hydrofugo, first time I've used it actually, and I'm just going to lip the edges with Fibercolor to give me the effect of looking like it's going to be made from the full thing. I might try and put a bit of colour just down the side there because that's the only little bit that'll be seen. But the rest of it is going to be in regular Hydrofugo with Fibercolor lipping. I did a factory visit last year to Portugal with Finsa UK to see how the MDF sausage is made, and I'll have that video coming out before too long as well. Incidentally, I'm not going to be posting on a regular weekly or fortnightly schedule in future. The videos will come out when they're ready, so if you're not already subscribed, now would be a good time, and don't forget to hit that bell to switch notifications on. So for the drawers for that cabinet, I'm going to be using a variety of materials. I'll be using Birch Ply for the full width drawer at the top, and then for the other drawers I'll be using Birch Ply alternatives. I'll be looking at why Birch Ply is so popular as well and why it's become so difficult to get hold of. The Birch Ply alternatives, I've got a birch faced poplar which I'll be using for the drawer boxes, and I've got something called reinforced globulous maple veneered plywood, which is a lovely finish. I'll be using that for the fascias, so we'll get continuous grain across all 5 of those drawers. Cabinet construction on that drawer unit is going to be with dowels. I'm going to start by using my cheap little dowel jig, but I'm also going to be using this Triton Doweller that I picked up just before Christmas. The Triton Doweller is one of the most reviled tools of recent times. If you have a look on YouTube, most people really dislike it for many reasons. This is actually the 4th Doweller that I bought. The other 3 were returned as being completely unusable, but I've been told that this has had a bit of a re-engineering makeover of late, so I thought I'd try one of the late 2022 versions to see just how good or bad it is. Also, I'm going to be comparing it with this. This is an original Mafell Doweller from 2001. This is a 22-year-old power tool. Would you buy a 22-year-old power tool? Is that a sensible thing to do just because it's got a top brand attached to it? Well, that's something else I'll be taking a look at in a future video as well. And talking of new tools, I bought a table saw. At the end of last year's Mondrian patchwork table video, I mentioned that I felt I was at the limit of what was achievable with a Tracksaw and a miter saw. So I started looking at table saws. My needs, my requirements are very specific. I don't want a panel saw. I want a small saw for small, precise, accurate cuts. I need a quiet saw with great dust collection. Cost is always a consideration, but it's not the overriding one. But when you start narrowing it down with those specifics, there aren't actually that many to choose from at any price. The cheapest I looked at was just over £1,000, and the most expensive about £2,500. And I ended up with a high middle, if you like, with the new Festool CSC Sys 50, a cordless trim saw at a hair under £1,700 with batteries. I don't need or want a cordless saw. It'll be the only other cordless tool I own apart from drills and drivers. But I decided that I shouldn't let that put me off, as it ticks all the other boxes. I don't have the saw yet. It's bought and paid for, and I'm expecting delivery in February, so it could be any time. That's quick, right? Melamine faced. That's a very, 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 very clean cut, isn't it? Aside from that, I'll be continuing with the basic build series of videos where we make functional furniture using a simple and restricted toolset. There'll be a video or two about base cabinetry basics as well, and I have a low-level kitchen makeover to do for my son, which involves, amongst other things, 23 replacement doors. Should I buy those or try and build them? We've got all that fun to come, but that's it for this one. I need to press on with this cabinet, so I'll catch you next week when I should have that completed, and I'll see you then. All right, take care.